Hey, it's back on the Drama CD channel. The voice might be familiar, but this time the story comes with a different vibe. The Chinese entertainment world, usually filled with bright lights, camera smiles, and immaculate scripts, was suddenly shaken by a confession no one really expected. Wang Yibo's name is back in the spotlight, not because of a new project or his iconic dance moves, but because of his courage to unmask an old rumor that had been lingering in the air for years. Amidst the glitz and glamour of a ruthless and secretive industry, Wang Yibo is known for being cold, reserved, and very careful in his words. He rarely responds to gossip, let alone personal rumors. But this time was different. There was something in his eyes, in the pause in his breath, that let the public know that the words about to come out were more than just a casual clarification. Since the massive success of the Untamed, Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan's relationship has never been out of the spotlight. Their on-screen chemistry has turned into speculation in the real world. Fans have been building theories, compiling interview clips, and interpreting every little interaction. This is where the term marriage was born, not literally, but as a symbol of a bond deemed too strong for mere coworkers. Time passed, but the rumor never truly died. It lurked in the comments section, lived in fanfiction, and occasionally resurfaced like an old shadow that refused to go away. Until finally, in an unexpected moment, Wang Yibo chose to speak out. Not at a large press conference, but in a quieter, more honest setting, as if he wanted to speak as a human being, not as an idol. In a calm yet heavy voice, Yibo admitted that the rumor had long weighed on him. He didn't call the marriage a mere lie, but rather the result of the collective emotions, hopes, and imaginations of fans mixed with the silence of the artists. A silence that, unwittingly, actually gave room for speculation to run wild. He recounted how his initial closeness with Xiao Zhan was simply the professionalism of two young actors who both wanted to give their best. The long days on set, the shared pressure, and the shared struggles with public criticism created a strong bond. But that bond, according to Yibo, is often misunderstood because the public only sees the end result, not the process behind the scenes. There were moments when he paused, lowering his head, as if remembering something he didn't quite want to share. He admitted that there were times when the rumors almost affected how he viewed himself. Not because of their truth, but because of the powerful narrative others had built about his life. Wang Yibo emphasized that there was never a marriage as the public imagined. There was no secret contract, no hidden promises. There were simply two individuals who respected each other, supported each other, and then chose their own paths when the storms came. But he also didn't deny that their relationship had been very meaningful in his life. This is where his confession became emotional. He spoke of loss, not the loss of romantic love, but the loss of the freedom to be normal. Every smile was interpreted, every silence analyzed. He felt trapped in an image that wasn't entirely his own, an image shaped by the expectations of millions. Xiao Zhan's name was mentioned cautiously. There were no accusations, no direct regrets. It was simply an admission that Xiao Zhan's silence was not a sign of neglect, but rather a way of survival. A way to stand tall in an industry that allows no room for even the slightest mistake. Wang Yibo's confession immediately went viral, sparking mixed reactions. Some fans were relieved, some disappointed, and still others grew even more silent. Because the truth revealed wasn't as beautiful as fantasy, but far more human. He showed that behind the grand stage, there were hearts tired of bearing other people's stories. He also touched on publicity, without blaming anyone. According to him, the entertainment industry indeed works that way. Narratives are sold, emotions are traded, but ultimately, artists are still human beings who must live with the consequences of those stories. In one particularly memorable line, Wang Yibo said that he hoped fans could love the work without having to tie the actors' personal lives into it. He wasn't asking to be forgotten, just understood. A simple request that feels so heavy in the modern entertainment world. Xiao Zhan's silence after this confession only became louder. Many awaited his response, but some began to understand that not every truth needs to be answered with words. Sometimes, silence is the ultimate defense. This story isn't about confirming or debunking gossip. It's about how a single rumor can shape the course of one's life, about how popularity can be a double-edged sword, and about the courage to finally tell the truth, even though they know not everyone is ready to accept it. But the story didn't really end there. After the confession broke, the Chinese entertainment industry held its breath. Fellow artists remained silent, the media acted more cautiously, and fans began to re-examine their own memories. Many realized they had been loving a version of the story, not the reality behind it. In fan forums, the tone of the conversation slowly shifted. From speculation and debate, reflection and empathy emerged. Some admitted feeling guilty for unwittingly contributing to the narrative that burdened the two actors. Others chose to preserve the memories of the Untamed as art, separate from the actors' personal lives. For Wang Yibo himself, this confession was a turning point. He didn't say his life immediately became easier, but there was relief in knowing he was finally speaking for himself. For the first time, his story wasn't entirely defined by rumors, but by the words he chose. Meanwhile, Xiao Zhan's shadow lingers in the story, not as the one to blame, but as someone hurt by the same situation. Many are beginning to understand that sometimes two people can be caught in a storm they didn't create, and the only choice is to survive in their own way. Ultimately, this story leaves a silent lesson that behind the popularity and public fantasy, there's a fragile line between appreciation and pressure. And perhaps, after all that's been revealed, what's most needed isn't further answers, but space. Space for artists to breathe, and space for fans to love without having to possess. At the end of his confession, Wang Yibo didn't close with a big smile. He simply sighed, as if releasing a burden he'd been carrying for a long time. It was a simple moment, but that's where its power lies. It wasn't overly dramatic, but it felt real. And perhaps, after all this, the public will see Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan not as symbols of old rumors, but as two individuals who once shared an important chapter in their lives. A chapter that has now closed in the most honest way possible. This is the story behind a marriage that never existed, but whose impact was so real. A story of truth, silence, and the price of stardom. Stay tuned to Drama CD, because behind every news story, there's always a deeper story waiting to be told.